o'clock. It is July 28th, and this is our regular town board meeting. Anyone who wants to say the pledge can stand and say it.
Flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like, can everybody hear? I would like a motion for approval of prior minutes for June 9th, 2025.
Motion. Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I'm going to go to discussion items first. We have Elijah Bender here tonight who wants to talk to us about a local law to allow for parking at the Rhinecliff Hotel. As you know, the Rhinecliff Hotel lost its long-term parking lease with Amtrak when Amtrak gave the contract to a second or third party to oversee it. And the hotel needs 20 parking spaces, I think, to 22 to be able to meet the requirements of their special use permit. I put Elijah and Ginny Hart, who's the head of real estate for the Northeast Corridor, together to see if they can work something out. But aside from that, Elijah is asking for some additional parking for the hotel on the hotel's property. I think this is on tab 25.
I just have a public comment. Kyle will join
Come on
me.
up and introduce yourself.
Thank you. Elijah Bender. Nice to meet everyone. Can you hear me all right? It's good to be here with everyone tonight. I want to thank the town board for the opportunity to present our plan and for their willingness to help find a solution for parking in the hamlet and at the hotel. As you know, we've been looking for a long-term tenant to operate the Rhinecliff Hotel since the prior tenant left during the COVID-19 pandemic. The hotel was built in 1852 and significantly renovated in 2005 and has served as the center of hamlet life and community. Although it is not being used to its full capacity now, we continue to invest in upgrading infrastructure, including HVAC, the wastewater treatment plant, new plumbing, and repairs to framing into the balconies. We also continue to rent out hotel rooms and use the space for charitable special events like the Bard Prison Initiative and Culture Connect. In 2005, when the planning board approved the site plan for the hotel renovations under a prior owner, the hotel entered into an agreement with CSX for dedicated parking spaces. However, the site plan included a contingency site plan prepared for the construction of 22 spaces on site. The applicant obtained several variances in case his backup plan needed to be built. In 2020, Amtrak took over for CSX and advised the hotel that it had to find another long-term parking solution. Amtrak has continued to provide parking on a month-to-month basis, but we are still negotiating a long-term solution. The issue that comes up again and again from prospective tenants is concern about parking. The current month-to-month arrangement with Amtrak does not provide enough certainty for potential tenants. Given the current parking situation in the hamlet, we would like to again proceed with creating on-site parking spaces to ease the burden to street parking. Tonight we are here to present the current proposal for parking, which would create 7 new on-site parking spaces, and we are looking for your input and perhaps a recommendation to the planning board. Kyle Ahern from Labella is here to walk you through the plan. Thank you again for the opportunity and for your efforts to bring about a solution that will allow the Rhinecliff to thrive.
Thanks, Elijah. Kyle.
Good evening. So the plan that I handed out is very similar to the plan that was actually submitted and then included in the agenda packet. It looked like there was an issue with the yellow highlighted area that got rotated in the packet, but that was just rotated back into location. And we added a couple call-outs just to kind of help go over it as we discuss it. So The yellow highlighted area represents the area along Grinnell Street where additional spaces are proposed to the south of where there's currently an existing space there. You can see the ADA space is repaved on this plan as shown, but that space is currently out there, it's existing. There's an additional, well, I'll stay in this area now. So from that existing space, we'll build 6 additional spaces to the south of that location. And that's the bulk of the additional parking that's proposed here. In the contingency plan that Elijah had pointed on back from 2005, there were additional spaces beyond the 6. However, where those spaces were proposed is now the location of subsurface propane tanks and the wastewater treatment plant. So obviously moving those utilities would be,
Would you speak a little louder, please?
Sure.
Yes.
So that is the south side of Grinnell. The other portion where parking is proposed, we go to the furthest to the north. There's an existing space there as well, also an ADA space that we're proposing to keep as is. And then there are 2 spaces at a, it's currently, it was approved as a drop-off area. But given the need for parking, that is now proposed to be turned into 2 parking spaces. That was also the plan in the contingency plan. However, with the location of the retaining wall, 2 spaces is what can be fit into that location. The X-out space just to the south of that, the parallel space, was initially presented to the planning board. It's a bit awkward. It's not, it's not an ideal space. There was pretty significant pushback from the planning board on that space specifically, so we're actually no longer proposing that space. So it would be the 6 additional at the south, the 2 additional in the drop-off area, and then keeping the 2 existing for an additional 8 spaces.
I'm sorry, which
Sure.
2 existing? The one?
The one at the north, the 2 ADA spaces. There's one at the north and then one next to the yellow.
Okay, got it.
Right.
Okay, I missed the one right on the corner of
Yeah.
Shatzel. Okay,
It's labeled, it's one.
okay.
Right, so ultimately, we're proposing from 2 existing spaces, adding 8 to get to 10 proposed.
Is this local law that we would have to do? Why did the planning board turn you down, or how can we help?
The planning board didn't turn us down. We would go to the planning board for site plan approval on these spaces, but we were looking for the town board's feedback and possible input before going to the planning board and a positive referral.
And just to clarify that, Kyle, you said that the planning board had already pushed back on the X'd-out area.
The one space that Kyle.
Okay, so planning board has touched this, but they've said nothing other than responding to that one spot?
No. Do you have the most updated diagram to show? Because there was an issue with the one that was circulated.
Oh, yeah, I passed that.
Oh, good. Okay. I just wanted to make sure we were looking at the same document. So.
So that current one that you're
This
holding,
one right here.
has that been presented to the planning board?
Not at all. No, it
Okay.
hasn't.
Okay.
We just wanted to hear the town board's feedback and see what the temperature was before proceeding. So.
I think that the hotel isn't open is a travesty. We need it in the town.
Certainly, we've had it for a lease. We really want to see it open and functioning. Huck can attest to what the issues have been, right?
Are you the realtor, Huck?
Huck is
Yeah.
the realtor.
The big issue is the parking. There was a couple of serious candidates that really wanted it.
Very strong candidates, I might add, but again, they were a little turned off by the lack
Yeah.
of parking. And that's an understandable worry,
Yeah.
especially in an area that you have to drive to and with difficult terrain.
How's
So
it going with Amtrak?
we're continuing discussions, and we think we've secured 10 additional spaces from Amtrak at the moment. So between the build-out of these spaces and street parking and the Amtrak spaces, I think we will be in a strong position to assuage any potential
That won't
tenants'
give you
concerns.
the 22 that you need.
Well, we're also talking with Amtrak about building out additional spaces
Okay,
in areas that are not
in the,
currently paved.
in the back, like
Yes.
way south.
Yes.
I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, I know that this was a 2022 proposal originally, and some of the similar ideas for that southern portion is pretty much the same in terms of its layout.
Yeah, the only difference between this plan and the 2022 plan is the elimination of the one parallel space.
Yeah,
So it's not as intensive as it was in 2022.
okay.
more or less.
And so really, the real bite into the, sorry, not the bite, but the portion that you're dealing with for those southern portions, the 7, are going to really be going into the green part, the lawn area that we have currently,
That's correct.
is where it will go in. And
Kyle, did I hear you right that you said that lawn area is also the wastewater treatment and stuff? What else changes when that area gets paved?
So the lawn area in front of the proposed expanded parking area is, there's nothing there. The propane tank is directly to the south of that area, and then there's a little bit of a hill in between that area and the next plateau up, which is fenced in, and that location is where the wastewater treatment plant is.
So this is currently just the lawn before you get to that fenced-in
Yes.
propane.
Yes.
So this is on your property,
It is.
and
I might add, there was a 3-bay garage historically
Yeah.
on the site, and in the nominating form, it was listed as a contributing structure. It's not a very attractive-looking building. I think it's a benefit that it's gone. But did Kyle circulate those
They also have
pictures?
that, yes.
Okay.
yeah,
So it was historically a garage and building on that site where
Okay.
we're proposing parking.
the 2 that you're hoping to do in the drop-off curb area, in terms of their width and capacity, one's a 9 foot and one is shorter or smaller. And I was just wondering, there is a standard for parking within that. So, I mean,
what is this, Bob, what is the parking standard? Do you know off the top of your head?
9 feet wide.
Yeah, that's,
they-
it meets 9 feet.
well, one of them does.
They're both 9 feet wide. One looks a little less wide because the dimension is actually kind of cutting into that right
Okay,
space.
so it's just a visual,
Yeah.
is it just a drawing
Yeah.
spec issue? That's
Yes.
fine, I just wanted to make sure that.
No,
that the
please,
road was-
any questions you might have, feel free to ask us.
I mean,
And-
there are frequently cars already parked in those 2 spots, often, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, it brings up another point. What's to prevent Amtrak passengers from parking in the hotel's parking space?
It's private.
And what's to prevent hotel guests from parking in Amtrak?
We're working on coming up with a monitoring proposal with Ginny, and that was a point she raised. Ginny is the representative from
She
Amtrak.
raised what, I mean, but
A point of policing the spaces so that they're not
your
used.
spaces. that
My
you-
spaces and also Amtrak spaces.
That-
Well, I
But
mean,
Amtrak
they-
spaces will be protected by a
They have
parking
the path,
lot.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean, this is on Elijah's property, it's parking on your property for the hotel.
and I understand it's not ideal, but we've exhausted all avenues,
Yes, I understand.
and I
No, I
think
think
this
it's-
is the best solution to have this building vibrant in the center of the hamlet, in the business district there.
Yeah, it's bringing it one step closer. So in the 7 and on the southern end, that portion that is around the red dotted line will be, on the west side, will be a sidewalk of some kind for pedestrians, the people to get out and then use the westward entranceway rather than being out on the street. That is a
That's-
specific
that's
consideration
exactly-
because you don't want people
Stay
going back
in.
out on the hill and trying to deal with that. Okay, that's great.
I'm assuming that anybody that parks on Amtrak's spaces pays the money, and doesn't matter whether they're
No, I mean, people can use
railroad
Amtrak.
passenger or a resident of the hamlet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you pay the parking fee, you can park there if there's
That's
space.
right.
Yeah.
But Elijah
Except
needs,
for our dedicated spaces, which
You
we're
need-
working with Amtrak.
Okay,
Yeah.
Elijah needs dedicated spaces for a special use permit.
understood.
And we believe that we're close to that, so
Okay,
great.
that's a good thing.
I
And I
support
can't
this.
thank the board enough for helping with that.
I don't,
Yeah,
well,
I
you
think
know, we
it's
want to
the right
see,
step.
we want to see you open. It's important to the community.
Yes.
I mean, I see there are Rhine Clippers here. Is there concerns? No, people are here to support it?
Richard?
Okay.
So is this, I'm Richard Kopashansky from Rhinecliff. So is this all for a 150-seat venue?
I don't know.
No, that's the sign that's on there, that's for the 150-seat venue, and you need 22 spaces.
Well, our special use approval hasn't lapsed, so I would assume so.
137.
137.
137.
What's the point?
The point is, I think it's what happened last time when the Chapmans owned it, it was a mess. Rhinecliff was a mess because 150 seat, 137 seat is not right for, in my opinion, for Rhinecliff. I mentioned to Elijah's dad and Elijah like 8 years ago that if, I'd love to see something open there, and I think we all would. Maybe a little pub. Take the venue area, turn it into 6 more rooms, so you have a 15-room hotel, and you have a pub.
He's just before us to see if we support parking. I don't want to.
But you have to understand, it's 137 seat. Come on, Elizabeth, that's
Are you
crazy.
saying you don't want the hotel to open?
No, I'm saying, no, I love the hotel, and I would love a little pub, and I think the Rhinecliff people would too. But to have a venue there with, now you're proposing 22 parking spaces. By the way, the one that he's talking about up north is really on the street, so that's a town property, so I think.
No,
unless
it's
there's
not.
another-
We acted in accordance with our survey.
No,
It's not
no,
an
that's the spaces that were dedicated just south of the walkover on the Amtrak property. The 3 that are in front where people used to park in front that turned into a turnaround is going to be becoming parking spots. This is what we're going to move to
No,
next.
no, not the turnaround, the fire lane.
The fire lane. Those are going to be public
Public
parking spots
parking
in
spots.
front.
But it belongs to the town.
Yes.
Town,
Oh,
correct.
okay, so.
Yeah, I wasn't factoring
No, no, no,
in the
that's-
on-street
That's
parking.
not in
not
this
part of
plan,
this, no.
Richard.
And that's not part of it.
Okay, but that was brought up, so that's why I'm bringing it up.
Sure.
And the other thing is to have on Grinnell Street, the one with the beautiful views, to have a parking lot, in my opinion, and there might be other people here who think the same, would be a travesty. We already have a packaged sewer plant, and we also have all the propane tanks buried, so we have that fence there that you can't see the river. So I just think, yes, is it on their property? Correct. But, you, planning board, you say no to a lot of things that people want to do on their properties. So, but I would love for something to happen at the hotel. I really would. It would only enhance it. I mean, I have the property where Kip's Tavern is, when it was China Rose, and the
And where
hotel was...
does Tip's Tavern park?
Where does Kip's Tavern park? They park in the back. They park in
Is there
on the street.
dedicated parking for Tip's Tavern?
Yes, I have, it's 10 Schatzel Avenue.
How
That-
many spots?
There's 5 spots there. Is
So
it
5
about me, Elizabeth,
No, I'm
all of a
just
sudden?
trying-
I know you're trying to push this through.
No, there's nothing to push through. We're
Yeah,
talking about it.
Well, okay, but so,
I mean, this is,
This has.
my Kip's Tavern is a neighborhood pub. So to even start to go there is not a great thing, in my opinion. This is a 150-seat venue, 137-seat venue, which is just so not right for Rhinecliff. I'm sorry, it's only my opinion. And especially that parking south of the hotel, to have that parking take away the green lawn. There's a house right across the street from it that Louis Fernandez owns.
great. Did anybody else want to speak for this, for Rhinecliff?
So that's enough for me,
3
Elizabeth?
minutes, thank you. Yeah, 3 minutes is good.
Can I comment?
Sure.
Is that
Sure.
all right?
think.
So the site was improved with a three-bay garage there historically, so the river view was blocked for at least 100 years,
Yeah,
that
remember
I
when-
can gather.
Yeah, remember when the Rhinecliff Hotel was ready?
But also, in putting it out to lease, I think that you should understand that I will be responsible in finding a tenant that's not going to operate the venue in an intensive way. I don't even think the parking that we have there currently under this plan would allow for it to be used to its full potential. Is that right?
How about in the old days when?
Well, regardless, I just want to say that I think
Street
we're-
wine place, big
Wait,
doors.
let's just take a second
Oh,
here.
wait. Yeah, let's not scream from the audience.
Let's just say
One
this.
person at a time.
I would just thank you for the presentation. There is a lot of things to consider that are coming down the line as we move forward. I think it's just fine to put together a presentation to the planning board, move ahead. I think let's just see what you get to. There's other things in the future that will be dealt
Does
with.
the town board support, well,
I'm
I'm just
okay
here to
with
ask
it.
us if we support it.
But if again, you could put together a clear diagram
Sure.
that we can
I
kind
can
of
do
zoom
that.
into everything, we can see more specifically.
I'm just going to poll the board. Dana, do you support this in theory?
Yeah, I want Rhinecliff Hotel back online. I hear what you're saying, Richard, but also I don't think 22 parking spaces make for marquee on the Hudson. I think when you put out the sign for leasing, you kind of put out like max occupancy. I think like this has been like a blight on Rhinecliff that it's been.
I
vacant
certainly
for so
wouldn't do
long.
that to the Hamlet. I can tell you that right
I
now.
mean, we're also hoping, well, Alan, do you support it?
Yeah, yes.
John? You know, the other thing in working with Amtrak over the past 11, 10 years with this whole, renovation, it's our hope that once the parking lot is fully monetized and repaved, that parking will free up in the evenings and weekends because
Yes.
commuters won't be using it. And you will have to pay to park there. So we're hoping that, this will also ease the congestion in Rhinebeck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Okay, we have another discussion item, which is tab 24, Dutchess County DPW proposed reconfiguration intersection of Mount Rushmore and River Road. This came before us about 10 years ago, and it got shut down because Joel Tyner brought like a busload of people from Poughkeepsie who didn't want the trees cut down. In the past 10 years, that intersection has gotten even more dangerous because the traffic has increased. And if you're driving south on River Road, as you come to the triangle, you lose sight distance until you go over the hill. Cars are often parked up there, so you can easily just crash into them. What the DPW is proposing is that, look at this map, is that we tee into River Road and create green space on either side, and then we can plant new trees. Bob, do you want to speak to this? Because I know you were working with...
Yeah,
Bob.
we basically want to make it a T intersection.
Do you mind getting up and... This is on tab 24.
Hi, I'm Bob White. Good evening, neighbors. It's kind of a dangerous thing there. When you want to pull out on River Road, I mean, I use my mirror, but I see a lot of people that are bending way around to look and see if there's any cars coming. And like she said, with cars coming over the hill, there's really not a lot of space there for people to stop and pile up. So the county proposed years ago to put a T intersection in there. Okay, and that would consist of, we already took down a dead tree, and there's another one that's not looking too good. And all the large trees would be removed. A T intersection would be created. There's a little strip of blacktop between River Road and Mount Rushmore Road, where the Ferncliff Forest sign is. That would be removed, planted with grass seed and probably some shrubbery or trees put in there. And also to the north, where Mount Rushmore now comes out, would be removed, and that would also be grass and trees planted. So it would make a lot safer intersection, to have more room, it'd be easier to see cars coming each way. So I think it's a win-win situation for us. We have another spot, 9G and Violet Hill, coming out on 9G. It's very difficult to see to the north there. And yeah, I think that's more difficult because of the property. But we have talked to the state about it. But that's the proposal put out by the county, and the county would do the work.
Thanks, Bob. Does any town board members have any questions? Let's go to tab 8. I'd like a motion for Resolution 2025-178, to reconfigure Hudson Road, River Road intersection. Any motion?
Motion.
Thanks, Chauncey.
Second.
Thanks. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thanks, Bob. I'll let Bob Balkine know that we approved it. Bob, Wayne. Okay. We approved it.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Another
What do you know?
Rhinecliff parking plan. I guess we just wanted to update you all to let you know, tab 26, that we received, after listening to the neighbors, I guess somebody came up with the idea of a yield street. So we got a proposal from Labella to do the study for a yield street, which would possibly allow for parking on Orchard. If it were a two-way street, because of the way it would be configured for pedestrian safety. But this proposal, it's like $20,000, so we don't have it budgeted for this year. So what our plan is to pass the proposed parking that we've approved, budget for this, try and budget for this in 2026. I don't see why we can't. And then see where the parking plan comes out and redo the law and amend it if the yield street goes through. But we want to continue with what we've already decided for the hamlet, for the 22 on-street spaces plus our 15 in the parking lot, and get that done so that we can start enforcing the parking.
Yeah, that's, I mean, the main aspect, of course, is we're all still concerned about Orchard and the library, but the ability to enforce parking in the entire hamlet doesn't exist right now, anywhere.
Well, it doesn't exist anywhere in the town except for winter,
Yeah.
overnight parking in the winter. For
So
parking.
with Orchard being re-examined with the study that we're going to be able to do next year to deal with a couple different ideas to utilize it, the idea of moving ahead and just getting laws written and coded up in Albany so that we can write tickets in tow. And that'll help protect some of the issues that have been evolving in the hamlet, or not evolving, going on for decades.
It'll give us a parking law that we can enforce. And the parking law we want to go ahead with is what we've all agreed on. We'll look at the yield street, reassess next year after we get those results back. Does anybody have questions or comments about that?
I want to share one little thing. I know there are lots of people in Rhinecliff who feel that we should not take this like incremental step to codify the laws prior to doing the yield street study, and I understand that. But one of the things I will say is that we also, in the hamlet, we all tend to interact with each other pretty informally and kind of come up with cool stovepipe ideas to get things done. And like, for example, just this past week, someone was going around putting flyers on cars asking them to not park because it was supposed to be for Morton events. And it's illegal to put flyers on cars. And some person got their car flyered, and I know it was like a well-intended, we don't need a parking lot, we can just put flyers on windshields. The village police are now doing an investigation because it's illegal to do that, and someone got pissed off and complained. So
We need parking that we can enforce down there. We need
this
it now.
step is what it takes to be able to tow, and right now it's sunny and it's beautiful and everyone's like, it's okay. I'm just gonna remind you guys, in the middle of winter, you're gonna have Amtrak scofflaws parked in front of your door for 3 months again, like it was last year, and you're gonna be furious. And so this is the only way we solve that, and it's not the permanent solution, because really, like, the solution we want for Orchard, we want yield street, we
don't know if that can even happen yet.
well, we want like safer streets for all. We want kind of complete streets, that approach. And the feedback we've gotten is that That kind of stuff can be done. It can bring in a lot of creative things, but it does take a different type of approach, and we have to kind of document that we've done like the research to make sure we're making the right decisions.
It's a traffic study.
That are safe decisions. You're not allowed to just be like, this is Yale Street. You have to actually go and count the number of cars and document it over a period of time, yada, yada, yada. So we need to do that, unfortunately. And in the meantime, if we don't codify this, someone's gonna get arrested and hauled away to the pokey for flowering cars, and nothing will be towable and nothing will be enforceable. So we have to take a little incremental step.
Good evening, everyone. I am.
If you could come to the front, please, and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I am Luis Fernandez, and I've been a resident of in Rhinecliff since back in after I left Gardner Farley Military Academy. It's a long time. I've lived in the town very peacefully all these years, and then suddenly this parking situation has come about. And I have to be honest with you, I don't quite understand it. I am concerned that about my family. I have 2 spots where I created, where I can park. Other people don't have parking spots. But I'm concerned about Thanksgiving, New Year's, Christmas, my family gathering, parking on the street. We've had no crowd. I wouldn't want to see our rights, being the residents of the hamlet, be taken away for parking. If Amtrak has created a problem, then that's Amtrak's problem, not our problem. Sometimes we look for quick solutions and we forget to see the rights of the individual who is paying taxes. Rhinecliff is a beautiful town. I've traveled through Europe, and I think Rhinecliff compares to Europe. Some special towns in Europe where people pay a lot of money to visit. I think Rhinecliff is about to become that, slowly. I'm opposed to newcomers making laws to prevent us from enjoying our environment. I don't think it's right. And I would like to see everyone enjoy the premises. I remember the Rhinecliff Hotel being a mess. It was a mess. There used to be fights in the middle of the night, yelling, screaming from people that would be drunk in the middle of the night. And the hotel was taken over. And it was done. It was redone. It became beautiful. I appreciate that. I feel bad for the current owner who cannot gain access to his clientele. I proud for the Chapmans when he had an opportunity to have his people, his clients, use the driveway. And I remember that I was able to plow, and then slowly more and more people began to overwhelm the parking area, so I was unable to plow safely. And it was horrible. I think that, in my view, I think that Amtrak owes the current owner the right, because it's just not right that because they're such a big corporation that they can just coming through different towns and just owned it because they have the right. It's not right. Something is wrong with that picture. Just imagine, you know, so I feel for the current owner. It's not right. And I'm hoping that you have the authority to think this out. But think on our behalf.
Mr. Fernandez, what are you asking us for? I
I'm asking-
understand you're upset.
Yes, I'm at because the thought that you're contemplating perhaps not having parking.
No, we are contemplating having parking.
Okay, that's the picture that I'm nervous because, you know, people talk, people speak, and I don't quite get exactly what's going on. So I'm gonna be speaking with Elijah about his plans because I asked him to speak, the other fellow to speak louder because I couldn't understand what he was saying. So I need to speak with to Elijah Bender and ask him exactly what he plans to do because
Let me give you
perhaps.
this map and then you can see it when you talk to Elijah on the map. You can take my map. That's what he's proposing. Yeah, you're welcome. Are you concerned with Elijah's parking or the parking
Well,
in Rhinebeck or both?
I have a house that is directly opposite his
Yeah, where
hotel.
Elaine lives,
I
yeah.
have a small house and my daughter Elaine lives
Yeah.
there. So I am concerned about, but I don't want to stop him from doing something that is beneficial to him because that again is not right. But I am concerned about my property as well, okay? So I will speak with him.
Okay. Are you concerned with the other parking?
I am concerned about parking in general. I have not had a problem because I have a couple of houses in Rhinecliff, throughout Rhinecliff. And the only thing that troubles me now and then is people from Amtrak will park and they leave their car overnight or whatever. But, you know, that's Amtrak's problem. And
Well, it is Amtrak's problem, but the person who's using that spot is making it the town problem in terms of not parking in appropriate space and blocking people's driveways. So, yeah, I mean, Amtrak has helped create that problem for decades since the hotel was probably born. But the idea essentially is that we're hoping to alleviate all of that. Amtrak has now produced a system where everybody has to pay to park there, which they've never had. It's one of the last Amtrak stops to have that. That's changing it. And then in terms of the hotel and its need for parking, that's the hotel's concern, and what it's going to do is its path. This is all about, what we're kind of focusing on is just parking around the main parts of the hamlet right now and making sure that we have the signs and the ability to enforce those laws so that we can ticket and necessarily it can be tow. And that's what we're moving toward doing. We just wanted to get input about any concerns, which you talked essentially about all of them and what we've already talked about in the past in other meetings. So you're correct in that way, but right now we're not doing anything right now to make it committed or making a final decision. We're writing it up and putting it together with plans that were put together by the engineering company that's been doing it since the spring of this year. So we have another meeting to come to review it, public opinion will take place, and then a vote will take place probably the following month in September. So we'll keep the public informed and keep you as part in the loop. And if you need to connect with the town or talk to the town, then you can come talk to me. I'm in Rhinecliff, Dana's in Rhinecliff, and we can sit down at the Epicurean and go over everything if you like.
And Luis,
Thank you.
I heard you say that you were worried that there wouldn't be sufficient parking for the hotel and that you couldn't hear what was going on, but we all basically said we're in support of trying to get the hotel up and running again. And obviously, we don't know exactly what that looks like in the final iteration, but that's, so to alleviate your concern, and go talk to Elijah about it afterwards, but That at least is something that sounds like was something you wanted and hoped to have happen.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Richard.
I guess I've become an old timer too. I've been living in Rhinebeck for 45 years. The concern I have is the Orchard Street. I heard what you said, but so you're gonna stop the parking there for a year and revisit it or something like that.
No, we're going to adopt the parking plan that
Yeah.
we came up with and look at Yield Street.
Which is no parking on Orchard.
Right.
I'd just like to say a comment on, in 1994, the Dutchess County Board of Health was going to condemn 14 buildings in Rhinecliff because they were emptying their sewage into the storm drain that went into the river. So there was a grant that was gotten, and we came up with plans for each of these buildings. They were substandard buildings, but we came up with plans, the engineers did, to put in septic systems, substandard, but the Dutchess County Board of Health was not going to take these buildings down. They realized that this is what we have, let's do the best we can with what we have. I think we should do the same with the parking. The Board of Health didn't take down these buildings, yet they knew you could never build another building in Rhinecliff with what these buildings got away with. But because it was a hamlet, they let it go. I'm saying it's the same thing with the parking. I think it would be a mistake to end the parking on Orchard Street. Just what my friend there
Well, you know
was
that-
talking about. Because, I mean, all the things that happen at the library, hey,
The
listen.
only way we can
and if
have
the-
parking there is to make it a one-way street. Nobody wants it to be a
I
one-way street.
don't know if it's not broke. There's
But
no
there are
accidents.
safety guidelines, and now that we
Mhm.
know about it,
You know,
if we don't
there were
follow
safety
them-
guidelines in the Dutchess County Health Department. I mean, but they let it go because they realized it's a hamlet, and Louis brought up these towns, and I know, we're gonna talk about Europe. You're right, they're beautiful, we talk about it all the time, Sue and I. I know this is not Europe, we're dealing with Rhinecliff, this little hamlet in upstate New York. But I think you gotta go with what you have, and you just don't say, this is the way it's gonna be. I mean, we're making, maybe if Elijah came in and said we could use some more parking spaces, would be parking up in Orchard Street.
No.
That was a little sarcastic. But my point is, I think we should think more about stopping the parking on Orchard Street. As Louis said, there's things happen. You have a graduation. You have the holidays come. Where are we going to park?
It's so difficult sometimes because there's no one point of view from the hamlet.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different point of view. Everybody wants something else. All we want is a parking law that we can enforce.
Yeah, but also-
And hold on, Chad, I'm not done.
Okay.
And now that we know that there are safety issues, as a municipality, we can't say, oh, put that genie back in the bottle, forget about it, it's gone, we can't do that.
Does someone else talk
I
about
would like
this? Thank you.
May I address that?
Yes. Take my
Sure.
spot.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for your attention to this Rhinecliff parking training situation.
Speak up.
I've been trying to get an answer from the board or from the Labella about what the basis is for this conclusion.
So can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm so sorry. My name is Avery Gilbert. I live in Rhinecliff. What the basis is for this conclusion that there is a safety problem, because there's not. They've never cited any statute to that effect or any guideline that applies to Rhinecliff to that effect. I mean, I've sent several letters to the board, which hopefully you saw and read, but Rhinecliff streets are actually really a model in the direction that they're going for when you have multi-use residential pedestrian walkways in a hamlet area that you have, as I've described several times, and is included in guidance from the ASHTO, I'm gonna get the acronyms all wrong, but several guidance organizations, these are called yield roadways. And there can be informal, you do not need to have any kind of signage. So this idea that you need to, in order to allow parking there, I'm just trying to get like what is the basis for the idea that there's a safety hazard, there's no crash history. I keep hearing you say that, and I just don't know where that comes from.
Well, I think it was explained at our very first meeting with Labella, and if I remember correctly, it all has to do with widths for fire and emergency vehicles and parking. And it's a simple width, and that's all it is.
And that's a
We don't
new
have
standard.
that, and we allow parking, we're not doing our duty.
So you're saying widths for fire and emergency vehicles?
Yeah.
It all has to do with how much allowance you have for emergency vehicle access and parking in a street width.
Okay. So that's also addressed in this guidance, and that guidance is when that you may have those widths of when there's an alternate course. And our alternate course is, of course, Charles Street, that is a two-way street where there's no parking.
So this all has to be designed and laid out before it can be adopted, and we have to do a study for that.
Okay. So, sorry, if we were to just, what is the problem with leaving it as
We
is?
will be responsible if there is a fire and trucks can't get through and a house burns down. It will be the town's fault that we allowed that to happen.
Okay,
It's a liability issue.
okay. Okay, so you're saying, okay, thank you, now I understand. I thought you thought that there was some problem in terms of traffic.
It's a simple
but no,
liability.
It's a problem in terms
Now
of
that we know that
emergency
we'd be
vehicles.
not compliant with safety regulations, we can't do that. We can't turn a
Okay.
blind eye.
You don't know that you're not complying with safety regulations, but you have yet to
We
assess
do
the
know,
situation.
they measured the widths of the road, and they went with safety guidelines and said if we allow X amount for parking here and X amount here and the road is this way, we're not compliant. So we do
Okay.
know.
Those guidelines don't apply because they are for roads that have traffic of more than 400 vehicles per day. But
Avery, this will be in a public, this is a discussion for the town board, just to see if we wanted to move ahead with the parking. There'll be a
Okay.
public hearing,
Okay.
but I don't know what to do. I
Okay.
mean, are you guys saying now don't adopt parking and do this study, and then, I don't think that's what we
Yes.
want to do.
Yes.
That's what they're
Is
saying.
that what you want to do?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, I think we're wasting $18,000.
So you don't want to do the study? Then there will be no parking on Orchard Street without the study.
No formal parking, but still informal parking,
No,
right?
cars will be ticketed and towed.
Okay. Okay.
You can't have it both all ways. It's not this, there's no easy solution here. I feel like we keep talking about the same thing.
Here's what I would love, if when you put out the next notice, can you please cite to the reasons for why, like, for example, there's no citation to what regulation you think is causing this requirement, and I'm learning it here now for the first time.
Bob, do you want to speak
So
to
if
it?
you can just put
No,
that in
when
the
Bob's
public
right
notice,
here.
that'd be great. I'm just asking for it to be in the public notice so that we know why we're doing
We don't
things
do
we're
that
doing.
in the public notice, and, we're here, this is an informal discussion. And in a local law, I guess we could cite all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been with the town for 30 years, and taking care of roads and stuff, and Rhinecliff has grown a little bit in population, and parking has always been a problem down there in the wintertime, especially. I mean, there's cars that are parked for a week at a time, and we got snow banked up against them and all that, and we really have no law against them. Well, other than the wintertime, we do have a
What's the
law for
only
that.
law we
I did
have?
have cars, I did have cars.
It's not
towed.
even enforced in the winter.
I did have a car towed last year that was
Okay,
there
so you
for
got
a
your-
week or more. And Orchard Street, if we have parking, can't have parking on both sides, the street is too narrow. You need like 20 feet, and then you need another 9 feet for cars to park. So you need 29 feet. And Orchard Street is well below that.
Okay, so that's, okay, but as the study will show, that's not correct for a street that has fewer than 400 cars.
I'd like to wrap this up, because
Okay,
we have
that's fine,
business
but
to do.
I'm just asking that but the
I hear
public
you,
be
but you wanna
informed
see
for
the laws if we
Yeah,
do.
the reasons for why we're
Sure.
doing things, because I'm just been so
Are
unclear.
you,
Okay.
I want to pull the board before we go any further. Chad, I'd like to pull the board. Do you want to adopt parking and then deal with it? Like, what are we doing here? Are we not doing parking in Rhine Cliff? Are we gonna let people, I mean, I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, my position is that we need to move ahead with the laws that we're proposing, and the plan as it is right now will help provide a structure that we can then move forward to examine Orchard, to find a viable process to have
I mean,
parking.
the Yield Street.
The Yield
But
Street.
Avery's against spending the money.
That's fine. That's fine. You asked what I wanted to do,
Yes.
and my decision is that we move forward. I would also ask, when we go to the next public discussion process and the next meeting, that, yeah, what Avery cited and what Avery is concerned about can be presented and should be presented to make it clear what it is that's being asked, the laws and the other aspects. Avery, I would also ask that the position and the things that you've cited and that you've talked about that are there, can you please bring something that we can see and read as well, so we can look at that prior and understand that. But just the sense of, yeah, please come.
I sent 2 letters. I sent you 2 letters.
I know,
Okay.
and there's links and everything. I'm just saying, that's just,
We have one parking engineer, and they sort of need to make the decision. And they need to advise us. And we can talk about this until we're blue in the face, but we have to make a decision.
I mean, I'm a classic punter, I'm a classic procrastinator, and, you know, I am totally in favor of doing the Yield Street version, because I think that's better for pedestrians, et
Do
cetera.
you want to enact the parking law that we have, and then do it, the study next year when we can fund it?
I will not particularly, because Amtrak has alleviated a huge, like, the big
Okay.
problem
Let me just pose,
yeah.
what do you want to do?
I think we should pass a parking law, and I think we should do it as soon as we can.
Alan?
I agree with Johnson.
Okay, so we will have it on our next agenda to pass a parking law, and we'll notice the town board, and we'll set a public hearing and continue discussing.
Could I speak again?
Sure.
and thank you all for coming
Hold on, Chad.
and talking about it. This is great.
Okay, I'm not speaking as highway superintendent.
Thank you, Chaz.
I think a parking law is needed because Amtrak's gonna do their parking lots over. They've already started the drainage work on it. Are they gonna close the parking lots?
Yes,
Are they?
yes.
So they're gonna close the parking lot.
They'll close one at a time.
There's 300 cars that park down there daily. They're gonna be all over Rhine Cliff. If we have no laws in place, there's
We
nothing
won't
we
be
can
able to
do.
ticket or tow or anything.
And I suggested putting a parking garage to the north end of their parking lot. Now, I was told the other day the town is against that.
It's
And
not
I
our-
said,
it's not our decision.
I haven't heard that. I
It's
said,
not- it's
I
not
know
our problem.
Amtrak was against it.
Well,
I was at a meeting and remember the woman
who
said,
are you told, like, is this gossip?
no, this was the guy that was working, putting the drainage in. I stopped in to check to see what
Okay,
they were
first of all, I
doing.
don't think Amtrak has money for a garage. They don't have a plan for it. And if they did, they're exempt from our zoning, so it doesn't matter whether we're against it.
Well, I'm just speaking that it would be a good idea. It would take care of the problem now and in the future. But,
They
yeah,
have $26 million to spend, and they're spending it on the restoration and the parking and the ADA and the state of it. They already have a plan in place, and it does not include a parking lot. They're a quasi-governmental agency, and they're exempt from our zoning.
so they're going to close down one parking lot.
One parking lot at a time.
So you're going to have all these cars. I don't know where they're going to park.
When is
And-
that starting?
We're waiting, because we don't have a federal government of sorts right now, we're waiting for the federal environmental review to happen. And it's projected to happen this year, and then they'll start the parking renovations.
Yeah, I mean, that's the parking
Hopefully by
Armageddon.
2026, parking Armageddon.
Isn't it nice, Scott? Let's wait for it.
No, it's the federal review, environmental review has to happen for both the ADA, which is the federal portion of this,
Right.
and the state of good repair, which is an ISDOT portion of this. So they need a federal environmental, secret quality environmental review to be done before they start anything.
Right, but that's the Rhine Cliff station, the extension, the elevators and the travel. And the parking area?
Both.
Parking is under that? I thought that was
There are
Amtrak.
Yeah,
federal and state.
yeah.
The parking, part of the parking is federal because it's ADA compliant.
Right.
So it's all enmeshed.
Okay, understood. So that will hopefully be starting after that environmental review in 2026.
So all I'm saying, if they close the parking lot, people gotta have a
But
place.
the board has decided we're going to go ahead, we're going to put this parking lot before us, we'll have a public hearing. So that's next step. Margaret.
Okay. Thank you.
It's kind of like an overflow parking or something. Like a few times I took a train to the city, there was no parking
But
ever.
that's, Amtrak owns the land, it's not our parking lot.
No, like into town, having a little shuttle or something to take people.
That's the idea.
The business should start it.
Yeah, there's a great idea for a private
I like
business.
multiple times I have missed the train because there's just no parking place.
Same.
Yeah, but it's Amtrak's.
Standalone parking lots aren't allowed in the town of Rhinebeck, so someone would have to have a parking lot. John?
No, I was
Yes.
thinking in town somewhere, shuttle them and have
Go
a
ahead,
shuttle.
start a
Good
business,
good
that's great.
business, you should start it.
Yeah,
So will there be no parking on Orchard Street on both sides?
correct.
For a year,
For a year.
supposedly.
No, until we see what Yield Street does.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
We could have parking on Orchard Street if you wanted it to be one way, but the hamlet was overwhelmingly against that. We can only have parking on it if there's one-way traffic because of the width of the street and emergency vehicle access. Yes.
I'm just curious, so Amtrak's doing this renovation and parking's not included in it.
It is included in their lots.
But they're not increasing the amount of spaces.
I don't know that. We can say that because they'll be monetizing it, there won't be cars left there for, like, when BART students go away for J-term, they won't be parked there.
Right.
Things will, we're hoping, open up because they're going to monetize it, stripe it, and enforce it.
So
Yeah,
we
for
know that
someone who
parking's
lives there.
part of their renovation, but we don't have information if they're increasing the amount of spaces.
We do have the information, I just don't know off the top of my head. They're going to do away with all of the, like, parking lot's a mess right now. People park parallel to the river against the cliff, and that's not allowed. So
Right.
There's been no one enforcing it. The road, it isn't striped, it isn't clear where the spaces are, so they're going to re-engineer it.
I'm curious, is Amtrak aware
Oh,
of
yeah.
the issue? Okay.
Yeah, oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, can we move on?
Oh, wait.
I have some more.
Oh, for sure.
Dina,
I'm just wondering, this codifying that we're doing is to be able to tow cars, which is good.
Codifying means adopting a local law.
Okay, but I'm saying the initial thing is to be able to move cars in the winter, and we all agree that's a good thing. But
No.
then,
It's not to move cars in the winter.
well, I'm just saying that could be a use of it. It's to be able to tow a car if it was there for weeks and weeks and weeks. But the thing that I was going to say is that why does Orchard have to be shut down for that law to be passed? I'm not sure why the two.
It's not going to be shut down. Parking will not be legal here.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but what does that have to do with, like, making it so you can tow cars? Why do those things have
It'll
to
be
be?
the parking law. The parking law will say where you can park.
Yeah, but why then, all of a sudden, there's no parking on Orchard? Why can't we
It's
wait a
not wide
year?
enough.
Why can't we wait a year to do the study?
Because
Or-
we want a law in place while we do the study. We don't have the money for it this year.
I'm just not confident that once the law is rolled out, it will ever roll back. And to not be able to park somewhere for a year is a hardship.
Well, it shouldn't be done because it's a danger. Now that we know it's a danger,
But can we wait to do the study to
the
make
town
sure?
board has decided that we want to go ahead and adopt a law and then do the study next year. That's what we talked about tonight publicly, and that's what we decided, everyone but Dana. I'd like to move on. We can have a public hearing for this. This is yeah, go ahead, Will.
I'll keep it brief. I know we want to move on. I just want to speak generally to both parking plan ideas and just talk a little bit about the tension that's going back and forth here. I think that the elephant in the room that we're all sort of dancing around is that Rhinecliff has grown in recent years, and the pressures that are happening on the infrastructure in Rhinecliff are felt by the whole community, and we're all frustrated with the tension of that. And I really appreciate the board and the hard decisions that you guys are considering and having to make here. And I just, I want to speak to, what was your name, sir?
Luis Fernandez.
I want to speak to Luis's comments about how Rhinecliff is a hamlet of incredible beauty and import to this
So
community.
important to the town.
And that as we're making these decisions and as we're looking at the growth and sort of growing pains that are happening in Rhinecliff, that the board remains sensitive to that central aspect of what the hamlet is to the community. And it's our sort of anxiety that as we continue to change and modify the community to fit these new modern problems and find and apply modern solutions to them, that we're going to sort of in a way experience this sort of death by 1,000 cuts, where we're going to chip away at the cultural aspects that keep the hamlet important and beautiful, and that we're going to lose that character and culture. And so as we continue to make the decisions like this now and in the future, I just hope that the board, in whatever iteration it may be in, keeps that in mind and keeps the importance of the asset at the forefront when we make these decisions.
I think we tried to.
I'll try
Thanks
to-
for the reminder.
Thanks
I
for
can
the
be super, super short.
Oh,
I'm
I'd
so
love
sorry,
to.
I'm so sorry. This is just from the fire, now that I understand what this is all about. Vehicle access. This is from our fire chief. He says, consultants never spoken to the Rhinecliff fire chief outside of the one, this is from Zach Bendino, the fire chief. Outside of the one public meeting where they connected to the one-ways. Fire trucks can drive fine on Orchard Drive with two-way traffic and parking on one side.
Thank you. We're going to move on. Jonathan?
I'm sorry, just one small thing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to
Don't
frustrate
apologize.
anybody. Just I've grown up there. I know Rhinecliff like the back of my hand.
You want to get up?
No, that's okay. I work in construction, and my father's truck is actually the width of the size of a tractor trailer, and I take his truck all the time. And I park in front of the house, the garbage trucks go by, so I know in like legalities, maybe the road's not wide enough, and I totally respect that, because I know that you have a job to do, and I don't want to make it harder for you. But on the other end, like I'm there all the time, and like my common sense is like I watch two full-size 8.5-foot vehicles pass by on Orchard Street constantly. And my family, like I have a really large family, and like when we park in front of my parents to visit on weekends and park, like we're close-knit too. We're not like, my family's very close-knit, so we fill the road. We fill our section of the road because we don't have any neighbors behind us to get up to the top of the road with vehicles. And it just, I understand you have to do what you have to do, and I respect that, but it's definitely hurting our family.
I don't know, we'll have to decide through a vote if we want to take advice from our engineers and do this safe, or just, I don't know what to say. It's
How about no parking except weekends?
Wait, hold on.
All right, we're going to move on. This should be
One second,
determined.
please, I'm sorry, 1 second. I just want to say this, A number of years ago, I have family in Connecticut. And a number of years ago, when our girls were so little, we would go visit them. And they invited us to the beach. And I was happily ran to the beach. When we got there, I couldn't park because if you were non-resident, you were not allowed to park. So I could not go to the beach. And I could never understand that, but, maybe, the residents have rights. And
Well, we have looked into resident parking, and it's complicated because we would have to allow it. They're town roads paid for by town taxpayers. So I would have to be allowed to park there too. I don't remember where we came out on that. It was such a long time ago. I don't remember.
I think you can't restrict it to
Can I
just,
see that too, because that's not my.
We're going to move on.
you can't restrict it to hamlet residents only, because the hamlet is not a political entity. It's
It's
the
not a
town.
municipal entity.
It's not, they don't have a board, they don't,
So if you look at the statutes, and I don't know why it has to go through the state, but it does. But you'll see all these towns have applied for a residential parking plan, and it will be residents, and it's of like specific blocks. So it doesn't have to have anything to do with being a political entity. I sent the link to Chad. You can go and you can see the town of, like.
Cold Spring.
Kind of like a town of, like, oh, like.
It has to be, I remember now, it
There's
has to be
like-
approved by the legislature,
Yeah.
and we're moving on.
Yeah, so you
So
get
we're-
it approved by the legislature,
Thank you.
right?
We're gonna
Yeah.
move on. We will put this local law up.
Just want accurate information from my town.
Well, I think there is accurate information.
Well, saying that it has to be up the whole town, that's just not true. That's what he said several times.
Please stop. It's
Just accurate
enough.
information would be great.
That's what our lawyers told us.
But you still have to have 20% for the public. You can't like just have
Correct.
a whole,
That's
like, so it's
Correct.
not that it's just for residents.
Correct.
There's still, that's part of the law.
Correct. The most difficult thing in the world is making a decision for Rhinecliff. It's hard. And I know
Well,
it's a hamlet, it has its own identity, needs, and we're just trying to come up with a common sense solution, and it doesn't work for everybody, unfortunately.
And you're just worried about the liability of it. That's all that it is.
No, I'm not
You're
just
you're
worried.
you're not being
I'm a
forced to do it.
legislator. I have to follow the law. I govern by law. My oath is to do my job to the best of my ability in accordance to the state of New York law. That's my oath. So I can't turn a blind eye to it. I'm not worried about it, but that's my job.
That's why we need to understand the law, because there is no law that says this.
Okay, we're moving.
Okay.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Tab 1, 2025-171, Municipal Solar Partners Community Solar Project at Landfill. Alan, may I have a motion?
motion.
May I have a second?
Second.
You want to know what this is?
I think we know what it is.
We've all read all
We
these.
read it. I did my work.
Very good.
Any comments, questions, or all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ellen, thank you for doing all this work.
You're welcome.
It would be great to have a solar array.
Hot trash, give it to me.
No, you get big equipment. You don't get hot trash and big equipment. You can have one or the other. 2025-172, landfill annual sampling proposal. I'll make a motion. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chad. I think that basically the same price as we're paying this year.
Yeah,
Maybe 100.
Couldn't pay me to do it at this price. I wouldn't be digging around the landfill.
Well, we have to.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It goes into the water, so we have to do it.
Yes, keep our water safe.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I'm tabling 2025-173 because we don't have it. She didn't show up for her interview.
Oh, bummer.
No call, no show, which is never a good sign when you're hiring someone. So we're going back to the drawing board. 2025-174, may I have a motion to approve court clerks to attend annual conference?
Motion.
Thanks.
Second.
Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Motion for 2025-175 to approve disposal, destruction of municipal records per LGS 1.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, I just want to tell everybody that Pat Kuhn, the former village clerk who's working here with us, has gone through over 100 boxes, like 110 boxes, and we're throwing out 43, so it's like a 40% throw-out rate. And I know someone's very excited about it.
And we're having it shredded.
Did we have a motion for this?
I'd like to motion while looking
Did I
at
have- I need a
Joan and
motion.
smiling at her.
I motion.
Chad, may I have a second? Chad's the first. Chad Fleisch, and
Second.
I'll take
I'll
Dana.
look at Joan while I'm saying
All in
second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Tab 6, approve vendor for document shredding. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Thanks, Alan.
Second.
Thanks, Chad. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I need a motion for 2025-177 disposal of the old broken town hall office equipment time clock.
Motion.
Thank you.
I have a discussion item on this. There's a young gentleman in the hamlet who enjoys taking a sledgehammer to dead items that don't have batteries, so I think we should be able to invite him to help out with this destruction. That's probably a light issue, never mind.
I vote no. All in favor of disposal of town hall office equipment?
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. We did 8, looks like we're going to ask Bob Balkine to reconfigure Mount Rutson Road, which after tonight's meeting, I consider a small victory.
Yes.
A small common sense victory. Okay, I need a motion for 2025-179 to appoint Kara Kuehl to the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Motion.
Thank you, Chad. I'll take
Second.
Dana. Second. I want to say we had 2 amazing candidates, and both would have been great. And the other one will keep her hat in the ring for next year if there's an open seat. And I want to thank Kara, who I know became very, very involved through the Rock Ledge project, and was always very courteous and very thoughtful and very well researched. And that was a hell of a long process, like 8 years. So she's shown that she has a stick-to-itiveness to sign up for the Zoning Board of Appeals. So thank you, Kara. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I need a motion for 2025-180 for security camera for the recreation park.
Motion.
I'll take Chad, and then I'll take Alan, the other Chauncey. Any comments, questions, or concerns?
Oh, punching, aren't you?
No, but just all that Rhinecliff parking always leaves me tweaking. Rhinecliff parking is just like the things of nightmares. Yeah. I got, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. May I have a motion for 2025-181 Aqua Zumba Recreation Program refund?
Motion.
Thanks, Chauncey. Thanks, Alan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? This is upon advice of the rec director. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I need a motion for 2025-182, hiring a part-time cleaner for the pool bathrooms.
Motion.
Thanks. I'll take Chad and Dana. DCP. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. 2025-183, to add a movie Under the Stars, even though we didn't budget for it.
Let's do it. I need motion.
I need a motion. I'll take Dana and Chad. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously, even though I didn't budget for it. I guess we'll discuss it again at budget time. I need a motion for 2025-184. the
Motion.
Event at the recreation park.
Second.
Dana, Colleen Peterson, and Alan Shear. Any comments, questions, or concerns? The last one was really popular.
This is going to be awesome, and I think I am so excited by the title Skate Jam, and I really want someone to do a parody, like a Weird Al style parody of Space Jam to make it Skate Jam.
After you start a parking service, you can do that.
My husband did put a flyer down the Epicurean and said, "Do you need a spot to park? I will come as your valet for $250 per hour." No one's taken us up on it yet, but someone will.
I think he could lower the price.
No, he doesn't want to do it unless he gets that much stuff,
$250 or he's not getting out of bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
He's the Linda Evangelista of Rhinecliff Parking.
I like that. I love the supermodels of the 90s. Did we vote on, let's vote on this. We motioned it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. 2025-185 summer camp refunds as recommended by our camp director. May I have a motion? I'll take Chad.
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. I need a motion for 2025-186, hiring summer recreational staff.
Motion.
I'll take Alan and then Dana. I have an amendment to this. I would like to add Hunter Gutterman for $16 an hour, beginning 7/29, not to exceed 200 hours for the summer. Does everybody accept that amendment?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's vote on the resolution. All in favor of the amended resolution?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Passes. 2025-187, to approve concession stand hours for movie night.
Oh, yeah. or I mean,
Second.
I'll take Dana and Alan. All in favor of having the concession stand open for movie night?
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes unanimously. 2025-188 turf field maintenance.
Motion.
Second.
Chad and Chance. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Passes unanimously. Authorized recreation, I need a motion for 2025-189, authorizing rec director to enforce pool rules.
Motion.
You'd think we wouldn't have to, yet here we are.
Yeah.
We are allowing her to enforce our rules. This is nutty.
Yes.
I think she's going to start asking people who behave badly to leave.
Second. I think you have a motion, I'll second.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chad and Chauncey. All in favor?
Aye.
If I
Passes
could, before we
unanimously.
leave the rec park list that we just did, I want to formally announce that we have bocce courts open to the public at the rec park as of tomorrow.
Pickleballing something.
I beg your
Chad
pardon.
bocce balled it. Bocce courted it. He got that done in like a month.
Fair enough.
He
Your
got
own
that
equipment,
done.
you have to bring your own equipment. There will be a rake available for any preening of the field, but you have two 12 by 72 foot bocce courts in a shaded area less than 20 yards from the parking lot.
Bring your own Campari. Bring your own
There's
pasties.
no liquor allowed in the park.
Bring your own non-alcoholic pasties to the bocce court.
And congratulations to the bocce community and their persistence.
Eleanor, are you a bocceite?
Yes.
Now you got courts,
You know
Eleanor.
why?
What?
Because I signed the petition, and then I said if I signed the petition, I should learn how to play.
I almost think that's backwards, but okay.
You don't know how to play?
You signed a petition not knowing how to play.
Very good.
Wow, okay.
It's easy to
There's-
being community spirited, that's okay.
Good. Well, they're open now, so you'll get to learn. 2025-190, approving dog control officers
Motion.
to attend conference.
Motion. Second.
I'm taking Dana and Alan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? And I think, like I haven't talked about this yet, I'll talk to Red Hook. I think everyone gets paid their hourly rate to go to training, but they're on a stipend, so I think we should give them, they're on a yearly stipend, so I think I should come to an agreement. This isn't until November to pay them a stipend till the time, since it is 2 days out of their life.
Yeah, sure.
Can we amend that on this?
No, we'll do that separately.
I agree.
I just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you.
So 2025-190, everybody in favor of approving our DCOs to attend the conference?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. I'll make a motion for 2025-191, 2025-192, and 2025-193, all of our financials, preliminary accounts payable abstracts, our capital projects abstracts, and budget transfers and amendments. May I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Alan. Any comments, questions, or concerns? All in favor?
Motion.
Aye. Or a motion?
Our motion.
Any emotions or concerns? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any new business before the town board? Any discussion items of now on the town board agenda?
I just wanted to mention that next meeting, we're going to have a resolution to basically look at to solve the problem of people doing work without building permits and/or people doing work that doesn't match what was approved. So,
Oh, you reminded me, so you finish that. I have one more thing to bring up in this.
okay, so that, we're going to,
That'll be a local law laid down at our next meeting?
right, yes.
Who wrote the local law?
Jim Levy and Kim Garrison.
Okay. Well, Kim,
John Lyons.
I knew what you meant. Will John or Kim be here to,
I can arrange for that.
We're also going to have Rhinecliff parking lot be laid down and STR revision. STR law, further revision, fixing some mistakes.
Okay.
The thing I wanted to talk to you about is that we got an email from Richard Creed, and I'm just going to read it. Dear Town Board, as the owner of Ankeny Farm and as a steward of agricultural property that has been in continuous farm production for over 325 years and thrilled to support any agritourism policy that allows us to improve our business. Working farms in our town do not generate enough income to cover expenses. It is essential to give farmers the tools needed to be financially successful to maintain these open green spaces that everyone in our community values so highly. Among the tools needed are flexibility with hospitality, including farm stays, farm-to-table dining, events. All three of those activities need to allow owners to be creative in their approach. Seasonal temporary structures need to be forbidden, I'm not sure about that, but allowing tourists to enjoy many products that we produce or to simply enjoy the bucolic setting that they allow. While these uses need to be legal for these ag district properties, we can't get too bogged down in any bureaucratic permitting. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't want it to be bogged down, but we do need permitting. Everybody needs to realize that these large ag district properties bring enormous gains to adjacent properties, and as such, all residents in our community will need to understand the importance of supporting such activities. We need balance and creativity for these properties to continue. So we've heard from several local farmers of the last local remaining working farms that they would like for us to look at some hospitality-friendly local law to allow farm stays, to allow events like weddings that are outside of ag and district allowances. Like for instance, if you had a farm and grew hops on your farm, you could, without town permission, open a brewery there. But there are some things that we can allow. So I just wanted to test your appetite to see if you guys were up for tossing this to Michael Zarin and having them come up with a rough pass for us to discuss of agricultural friendly tourist hospitality uses for farms of a certain size to be determined, probably over 100 acres or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's
But that's event-based, not overnight stuff.
We would consider everything.
Okay.
And we would consider farm stays, we would consider weddings, which Creed Ankeny does.
So that would fall into the SDR?
No, no.
Okay.
This is an agro-tourism and farm event local law.
Okay, thank you.
And we would take like a holistic view and kind of,
There's a whole bunch of things. We could look at creating an overlay, we could define accessory agritourism uses, we could implement special use permit for functioning, we could incorporate agritourism, establish design and operational standards, say how many, what kinds of events and how many people, again, to support business in the town and to be able for farms to have additional income so that they remain farms and not be developed. Okay, Wendy, now's your turn. Any new business before the board?
thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Wendy Maitland, and I just wanted to make you aware that Joan has, as some of you may have seen, a petition that is 95% signed by Rhinebeck residents, Rhinebeck and Rhinecliff, and the request is to have an opportunity for public discussion, even if it's, I know that you're in the lawsuit, so there are certain things that you won't be able to say, unfortunately. And that's unfortunate because members of the public did not have a chance to discuss prior to the decision to go forward with the lawsuit against Hyde Park, Clinton, and CECNY. Nobody had a chance to hear your reasoning. Nobody had a chance to also speak their minds prior to the filing. So at this point, the petition signers are requesting to have some opportunity to discuss the lawsuit, and if there are things that you can't say legally, at least to hear from members of the public, particularly Rhinebeck citizens, rather than opposition group citizens, and also other stakeholders like businesses, Rhinebeck. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
Anything else?
Just a quick happy aside, which may apply mostly to Chad and Eleanor, but as I'm sure you all know, based on the popularity of pickleball, Star Library has pickleball equipment that they will lend out to patrons. And they recently had someone donate bocce balls. So I don't know if they're ready to go out in circulation yet, but I know they went from like a few pickleball things to more of them because it was so popular. So I'll let, Jacqueline and everyone at Star know that bocce ball will be opening soon. Tomorrow, yes. And then if
7 a.m.
Take the number.
No,
Eleanor.
I'm serious. I've had people like, when is the guys who are building it? We're having people come on, like, when are you going to be done? When can we play?
This is fantastic.
Because we're not teenagers.
Yeah.
Oh, we were out there today
is there
looking
a
at it
Rhinebeck
at 2 o'clock, and it was
bocce
91 degrees, and there was shade on the court, so.
Wow, really?
Yeah, that was Chad's,
Yeah, I mean, the crew
Chad's brilliant.
Well,
Sighting.
and Eleanor and others who have put into it. It was just, the fact is that in placement of the actual bocce courts came through with Frank Mazzarella, Bobby Fitzpatrick, David Matthews, who was construction, and myself working together to just get it in the right spot and in the right place, because a few feet here and a few feet there can make a difference and make things easier or helpful. And then we also incorporated a path that runs all the way back to the paved parking lot so that the members of the community have an easier time locating the bocce, getting to the bocce court, as well as locating it. And on top of that, the positioning of the court is not very visible from anywhere except when you're right on top of it. It's not a very imposing structure, it's like on the ground, but it's just one more thing to kind of keep on the lowdown. It's like the skate park, you can't really see it unless you're perpendicular to it. Otherwise, when you walk through the park going to the pavilion,
it disappears.
It disappears. So we're trying to maintain a sense of green and pastoral qualities that the park can continue to have without a bunch of structures everywhere on top of everything. So it's important. And bring water. Remember to hydrate.
I also love that since Star is right there, that they've taken on this idea.
Sweet.
It's
The
just
park is
wonderful.
bumping.
It is. It's just very community friendly. So.
Chad, your 7 a.m. comment reminds me of this. We finished the pickleball courts at 11 o'clock on a day, a midweek day in November. I guess it's a year and a half ago. I was there when they did the final thing. I went home and immediately sent out a blast to about, God, I don't know, scores of pickleball players. The courts are ready. I had prepared it. I just hit the send button. I had a bite of lunch. I went back over to see if anybody had bothered. The courts were full.
Oh my
People
God.
were waiting. Match that, buddy.
I think you're a little jealous.
No, I'm competitive.
I will gladly.
Yeah, that's right.
We'll take that out on the courts.
Yes.
We'll take that on a different court.
Debbie, what is the due decimal number of the executive session?
That's hilarious. I have no
to
idea.
discuss a matter regarding a lawsuit.
Okay.
May I have a second? The current lawsuit.
Do you have a?
What was the response to the?
We didn't respond, we heard, thank you.
Which
What does that mean?
We listened.
But is there, there's 200 people have
Thank
signed
you.
and it is growing and people would just could you just overall explain? I think people are reasonable.
You can read our resolution about why we entered into the lawsuit.
No.
And our,
Where is that?
it's published in our record.
But nobody had a chance to talk about it.
I second
before.
and vote for the motion to go into executive session.
Several lawsuits. Motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Good night, everybody. We'll see you in August. Thank you.
Aye.